the Parra podcast, proudly brought to you by Rubbish Removal Kings, The Corner Post, Flash Conveyancing, Parramatta Leagues Club, Wine Barrels Event Hire Sydney, and Wick Coffee, proud sponsors of the Parra podcast. Are you looking for the best rubbish collection Sydney has to offer? Then Rubbish Removal Kings is your top choice. They specialise in household rubbish removal, office rubbish removal, and all types of waste removal or junk removal. Comprehensive services cover all areas of Greater Sydney, including Wollongong in the south, Penrith in the west, the entire Sydney metropolitan area, the CBD, North Sydney, and the Northern Beaches. Choose Rubbish Removal Kings for a rubbish removal near you. Get in touch with them today on 0411 867 719 or contact them through their website www.rubbishremovalkings.com.au. Proud sponsors of the Parra podcast.
Let's go! Welcome back to another show. Hi, how are ya? It's the Parra podcast coming at ya. Turn it up, feel the vibe, blue and gold. Step inside the cave. Yeah. Easy try in the corner. Here's your host, Troy Warner. Coming to you live from the world famous Parra Cave.
Hi, how are ya? Welcome back to the Parra podcast. Troy Warner here, and it is game preview time. It is round number 13 in the NRL, and the Parramatta Eels, they travel up the M1 to McDonald Jones Stadium to take on the Newcastle Knights Saturday the 30th of May at 3 p.m. There is a New South Wales Cup game before that one as well, so plenty of footy action at McDonald Jones Stadium on Saturday. Cannot wait to get up there, see some fans, and watch this Parramatta victory against the Newcastle Knights. Well, let's hope it is a victory. I'm tipping a victory, and pretty confident it can be. It will be tough to get the win against Newcastle. Newcastle at home are a very tough team to beat. They obviously have been playing better footy than Parramatta at the moment this season. They are in 5th position. The Eels are in 14th. But nevertheless, Parramatta, they had the bye last week. They'll be eager to get back into this game, into this competition, and with a win in this game. Now, I like to go through some stats and down memory lane at the start of all these preview podcasts because, look, it brings back some good memories. I don't like to talk about the bad memories too much, but I will go through some of the stats and, look, it might jog back some memories for yourselves as well. And you might find some of these very interesting as well. Since 1998, when the Newcastle Knights entered the competition, they have played 61 games between each other, Newcastle winning 31, Parramatta winning 29. At McDonald Jones Stadium, where this game is being played now, there has been a number of name changes of this ground over the years. Since 1988, there has been Newcastle Stadium, International Sports Stadium, I think it was, Marathon Stadium, Energy Australia Stadium, Ausgrid Stadium, Hunter Stadium, and now, of course, McDonald Jones Stadium. So, look, they are getting up the names of the stadiums, just like the Cronulla Sharks. They've had about 7 or 8 name changes, but Newcastle, they're certainly getting up there with the numbers of name changes, but it's all about money these days, isn't it, with sponsorships? Anyway, 32 games have been played at McDonald Jones Stadium between these two sides. Newcastle hold the advantage, which is, an obvious choice there, winning 20 games, Parramatta winning 12 games. Now, out of the last 10 games, which stems back to 2014, Parramatta have won 6 out of the last 10. And look, it doesn't look too good for Newcastle over the last 5 either, because Parramatta have won 4 out of the last 5 times up at McDonald Jones Stadium. So I'm hoping that Parramatta can continue that great record. The last time Newcastle won at McDonald Jones Stadium was in 2024, a 34-26 victory over the Eels on that occasion. So, look, different teams, different players have played in those games, but still a very good confidence record for the Parramatta Eels. They do tend to travel up there not too badly. Okay, now to some famous games. And well, look, I'm not going to go through all the games. Obviously, I'm going to bypass the 2001 Grand Final. We won't talk about that one. Newcastle fans will always talk about that one, but I won't talk about that one. That was my first Parramatta Eels live Grand Final, and look, I did end up disappointed because we all know the score in that one, 30 points to 24. But that's enough of that one. Won't talk about that one. I will talk about the first game that was played between these two clubs, 1988. Up at Newcastle, 26,340. Now, we won't see a crowd like that on Saturday afternoon, but it was a 28 points to 4 victory to the Parramatta Eels. Steve Ella, Eric Groth, Peter Wynn, Michael Erickson scored tries that day. Steve Ella was the goal kicker, 6 from 6. What a great victory that was for the Eels. Some great players there. Look at that halves combination. Brett Kenny, Peter Sterling was the captain on that day. How good was that? Look, one of the games that I do remember, and look, I will talk about it because I was there. And it's sort of a funny memory. We did end up losing the game, so that was no good. But I think it was 1998, and it was the day that Andrew Johns just peppered Clinton Shavosky and Paul Carriage with bombs. It was pretty hectic. It was either 97 or 98. I think it was 98. Just peppered them with bombs. As soon as the bomb went up, you just thought, oh no, what's happening here? And more often than not, unfortunately, they would drop it. Just the master that Joey was putting them up. But yeah, funnily enough, driving home that day, I had a VL Commodore, I think, at the time. Anyway, my regular headlights weren't working on the car then, so I had to drive home from Newcastle with the high beams on. So trying not to blind the other drivers on the M1 coming home. So look, that was a bit of a story, but look, 50-0. That was up at Newcastle. That was a great victory to the Eels. That was 2005. I think 2001 as well. There was, or it could have been 2002. Let me just double check on this one. I think it was 2002. Yes, it was. Or was it? There was a game really early on, refereed by Billy Harrigan. I think it's in one of the podcasts that I've done with Michael Butner about being sin bin. I think Nathan Imarsh got sin bin that day as well. I think there was about 4 sin bins to Parramatta. I think Michael Butner, he ended up getting sin bin twice. I think Hindy got sin bin. I think someone else got sin bin as well. But I'm not really talking about Parramatta wins, am I, too much? Look, 2022, that was April 24, 39 points to 2. I think from memory that could have... anyway, that was the... I think that was Jacob Arthur's debut game. And that was in the Anzac jersey that not a lot of people like, and that was the poppy one. The red poppies were all over the jersey as a bit of a camouflage. So not a lot of people liked that one. However, did end up getting the victory on that occasion. And look, I can't go past last season, can I? I can't go past last season, and at CommBank Stadium, 66 points to 10. How good was that game? That was a great victory to Parramatta. 66 points. How good. I mean, both teams' season was probably over, and It was just a great way to end the season for Parramatta. Dylan Brown was playing up against his old club. Mitchell Moses was playing. He got 3 tries on that day, as did Josh Addo-Carr. Mitchell Moses ended up doing the Hayne plane salute to Jared Hayne when he scored a try. Riley Smith got a try. And then Dylan Brown, 1 out of 2 conversions. But that was a great game, that one. Really loved that one. Look, there's probably plenty of others in there that Parramatta have gone on to win. Just looking at this list. But look, I'm going to be here for ages if I talk about those victories. Now, if we go on to players who have played for both clubs, there has been a few. Both the Arthur boys, Jacob and Matthew Arthur, they have both played for Parramatta and Newcastle. Nathan Barnes, you'll remember him coming down when Parramatta spent all that money on the salary cap. Got a lot of players coming down. I think that's when the Big Four from Canterbury came over as well. 1996, I think it was. Nathan Barnes was part of that crew, and so he played for both clubs. Who else? Isaac De Gois, who's now working at Parramatta, I think. He played for both clubs. Richard Fayoso, just one of the clubs that he played for was Parramatta and Newcastle. Look, there's a few others as well. Todd Lowry, he played for both clubs. I think he is now playing, a football manager or something like that down at Melbourne, another club that he played for. Jason Moody, the winger, obviously starred in on the wing for both Parramatta and Newcastle, played in the 2001 Grand Final. Johnny Morris, part of the 300 Club, played for both clubs. Paulie. Now, I used to have massive raps on Paulie. I wish we would have seen more of him in the NRL, and especially at Parramatta. Killing it over in England, apparently, but we never got to see the best of him, I don't think, unfortunately. Bo Scott, Ken Seo, the winger, Tamana Tahu, Tim Tam Tahu, as he was sort of known by, I think, Roy and HG. Obviously, he made a name for himself up at Newcastle, but then came to Parramatta as well and was a crowd favourite. Darren Tracy was another one. Danny Wicks, the front rower. Russell Wire. Now, another one who I don't think played first grade for Parramatta, but certainly has played first grade for Newcastle. He was Greg Lalicio at Parramatta, changed his last name in honour of his grandfather, and is now Greg Marzu. So when you hear me say Greg Lalicio, he's a Parramatta player, but turned Newcastle player. So there you go. So look, there's a bit of fun stuff there. Finals. Look, I don't want to go to, obviously, the grand final, but it's 2 wins apiece in games in finals. So the last time they played in finals was 2021, and that was up in Queensland. That was only in front of a crowd of 5,087. That was due to the COVID situation where all the games were played up in Queensland. Parramatta got the victory there, 28 points to 20. 1999 as well, Parramatta got a victory, 30 points to 16. That was at Parramatta Stadium. That was the qualifying final. Stephen Clark, remember Steve Clark? He was the referee that day. But yeah, we won't talk about 2001 or 1997 because I think that was the prelim final as well. 1997. Newcastle won that one, no minor qualifying final. But anyway, I think I was down in Canberra that day on a mate's tour watching that one. But that's a little bit of history. That's a little bit of fun there. Some players. Who's been your favourite player that's played for both clubs, Newcastle and Parramatta? Let me know. When I think about it, probably I did like Tamana Tahu when he played at Parramatta, obviously, with that basketball style try celebration where he used to bang the crossbar, slam dunk the crossbar, I should say. But look, Parramatta have had a lot of good games against Newcastle, and look, I must say, a shout out to the Newcastle fans. I mean, some of them can be absolutely obnoxious and really over the top. But look, there is a couple that are really good value. Look, they like to have a lot of fun. They like to have a lot of banter. Of course, I'm talking about Lincoln from the United podcast, producer Lou as well. They go all right. They are great people, even though they support Newcastle. But that's okay. Everyone's got to pick a team, and they have picked Newcastle. And also the Just Mates crew as well, Jude and Tyron. They are great blokes as well. Got to hang out with them up at Magic Round. But look, we are enemies this weekend. I'm sure we'll catch up with them somewhere across the Saturday anyway at this game. So look, it should be a good game and cannot wait. But yeah, look, they're some of the good guys. Some of the Newcastle fans can be obnoxious, but nevertheless, that's okay. They've got a pick and stick, and look, I was probably obnoxious one day as well as a Parramatta fan. Some may say that I still am. But anyway, let's go to the Parramatta side for this game. Let's get to the current day. And Isaiah Iongi, he is the fullback. He is back after injury. I think it was round number 4 that he had his injury. So he is back in that fullback position. Joash Papali, who has been playing really well in that position, moves to the 5'8" spot. Mitchell Moses is out of this game, unfortunately, with that hamstring injury that he suffered in Origin camp. So Ronald Volkman goes into the 7 jumper. That is the reason why Joash Papali is in the 6 jumper. But he's done a really good job for Isaiah, just keeping that position warm for him. So great to see Isaiah back. Congratulations to Brian Kelly. He plays his 200th NRL game on the weekend. 47 games for Manly, 143 for the Gold Coast Titans, and currently on 9 not out for the Parramatta Eels. So he will play his 200th NRL game on Saturday afternoon. Jordan Sanrani, Sean Russell stay in the team. Josh Adokar, Joash Papali, as I said, 5'8". Ronald Volkman takes over Mitchell Moses' spot. Luca Moretti, Talon De Silva, Jack Williams goes into the prop position and captain as well of the Parramatta Eels. And so congratulations to Jack there. He joins a long list of Parramatta Eels captains: Nathan Kalis, Peter Sterling, Brett Kenny, Ray Price, Mitchell Moses, Nathan Hindmarsh. There we go, Hindy. How could I forget him? So yeah, look, he joins that list of Parramatta Eels captains in first grade. So a huge honour for him, no doubt. 2025 Ken Thornett medal winner, part of the leadership group. So well done. Junior is out for a few weeks. Had a knee cleaned up, so knee niggling injury. So he is out for a few weeks now. So Jack has taken that spot as captain. So well done to him. Kelma Tuolangi, Kitione Katonga, as we call him, Kit Kat. He is back from injury as well. So great to see him back in this side as well. Has played a couple of New South Wales Cup games leading into this one. So he's back. Great to see Kit Kat back, and if you see him, it will not matter. You can call him Kit Kat. He knows about that one. Actually gets a little bit of a laugh out of it as well. Jack DeBellin is the lock. Dylan Walker, Charlie Guymer, Tony Matteelli, and Harrison Edwards is your four-man bench, part of the four-man bench. Harrison Edwards is the new signing from the North Queensland Cowboys, mid-year signing. So will be great to see him make his debut for the Eels if he gets a chance to get on the field. As we know, the six-man bench can be very interesting these days in rugby league. But more than not, he'll probably get a start in this game. He does cover a few positions in this squad as well. Can play a little bit of hooker, lock, second row, front row if needed as well. Upper Twiddle, Dealan Brown is your 18-19. Sam Tuivasa, who is also coming back from injury as well. Great to see him on the reserves bench as well. Lorenzo Talatania and Araz Nanva is your number 22. Look, those players will probably play in New South Wales Cup, but it's great to see Sam Tuivasa back playing rugby league again after an injury. So it'll only be a matter of time now, I think, before he makes his way into this, at least onto the bench at least. Look, one of the little good things about this Parramatta side is the fact that with these players slowly coming back from injury, there is a chance for competition for spots. So, look, if you're going to be off one day, you may get a second chance, but then if it continues to be off, well, then someone's there ready to take your spot. So, great to see Sam back, and he'll be pushing for a first grade spot in the next couple of weeks, no doubt. That is for sure. So, look, I'm pretty happy with that squad. As I said, Saxon Prikey drops out, unfortunately, but Mitchell Moses and Junior Paolo are out for injury. But I'm pretty happy with that team. It's a pretty solid team. Again, I'm not going to harp on about it because everyone else does, but the number of injuries that we have had throughout the season, obviously players missing. So I'm pretty happy with that squad. Now, the Newcastle Knights squad, Kalen Ponga, captain, I don't think he should be playing. I think he should be suspended instead of paying a fine, but anyway, I'm not the NRL, but he has been named to play as captain and fullback. Dom Young, Dane Gagai, Fletcher Sharp, Greg Marzu, Sandon Smith, Dylan Brown. The first time he's played against Parramatta. That will be interesting there to see how he goes. Jacob Saipfidi, who is pretty fresh, actually. Because he didn't get a run in Origin, unfortunately. So he'd be pretty fresh, raring to go. Phoenix Crossland, Trey Mooney, Dylan Lucas, Jermaine McEwen, Matt Croker, Harrison Graham, Tyson Frizzell, Pasami Solo is the 16, Cody Hobwood, Thomas Cant, and Fletcher Hunt is the 19. So, look, their Origin players have been named to back up. That is probably their full-strength squad. Obviously missing Bradman Best out of that team. But look, obviously in that side, you would probably have to keep an eye out for Fletcher Sharp. He has got a lot of talent, a lot of speed as well. Dom Young's got speed on that wing. Kalen Ponga, well, okay, I'm not too worried about him to be fast, but he'll be in and around everything in this game. But yeah, look, the real big thing is Dylan Brown playing against his old club. That will be really interesting. He will know the insides of the Parramatta side, no doubt, and he will use that to his advantage. I dare say his running game will come out again this week more than ever because he's playing against Parramatta and he knows their strengths, he knows their weaknesses. But certainly from the Parramatta crowd, he will probably get a boo. And look, that is because he's on the opposition team, all right? Not because he's a bad player or whatever. It's probably because he's on the opposition team. And fans are allowed to pay their money and boo if they want to, and that's probably what will happen from the Parramatta point of view. But Newcastle fans, they'll probably cheer even louder because they're playing against Parramatta. So, look, it'll be interesting to see how Dylan Brown goes. Obviously, he is a bit of a threat to the Parramatta side. I just don't know where their kicking game is, to be honest. With Mitchell Moses being out of this game for Parramatta as well, Ronald Volkman and Joash Papali will be the kickers, no doubt. But certainly that is a big loss. Without that kicking game, Mitchell has the best kicking game in the NRL, and that is a big loss as well. So, look, I don't think we're going to see some massive kicks from the kickers in this game, to be honest. because I don't see where they're going to come from. But Dylan Brown is not much of a kicker, to be honest. I think he's more of a runner, which is unusual for a halfback. I think Sandon Smith might be taking over that role. Look, maybe even Kalen Ponga, but no doubt Dom Young, he'll be involved in this game. That will be a great clash up against Josh Addo-Carr. Two great wingers there. Dom Young, he's obviously really good in the air, so he will be a target for the Newcastle kickers, which Parramatta will have to be aware of, no doubt. So he will have his hands full. Brian Kelly on the other wing, he'll be up against Greg Marzu, so look, he'll have his hands tied up as well. I mean, we all know how Greg is close to the line. He does have that strength and is very hard to pull down, so he will be tough to put down as well, close to the line. So Brian Kelly better be on his game there, because if he gets into dummy half, if Greg Marzu gets into dummy half, I think he'll have a crack. That's one thing that should be on the Parramatta team sheet in team tips in terms of what's going to happen. But look, I can't. Dylan Lucas on that second row position as well. I think there has been a little bit of talk about maybe coming to Parramatta, and he'd be a player that I'd like to see at Parramatta. But could this be an audition for Parramatta? Who knows? But Dylan Lucas, he's obviously didn't get a run in Origin, but he was in the squad, so he's on the cusp of playing State of Origin. So he knows how to run it hard. He finds the right lines, close to the line as well. Tough player to stop. So he'll most likely probably be running at Ronald Volkman all day. The halves are going to be having a tough job with these big Newcastle forwards running towards them, but I think they're up for the job. That's where the bodyguards come into play, Kelma and Kit Kat for them. I like the fact that Dylan Walker's on the bench. I don't think he had the spark against Melbourne in Magic Round like we have known him to, but hopefully this game he can inject himself into the game and really be of difference. Tony Mattielli, we have seen in previous weeks, the last couple of games that he has played, he has made a real impact, getting a lot of metres, making his tackles. So I like to see him on the bench as well. I'm not too sure when he will probably play. Interesting there, Talon De Silva, the hooker. Will he play 80 minutes again? Probably. At a pinch, he could probably throw Dylan Walker into that hooker position. Harrison Edwards could play that as well. But I think Talon will play 80 minutes again as well as he did this week. So, look, the team stats... Well, it all reads pretty well for the Newcastle Knights. They have scored more points this season, 312 to Parramatta's 235. They've let less points in, 284 to Parramatta's 379. Completion rates for both sides are 77%. Average points scored, 28 for Newcastle, 21 for Parramatta. Average points conceded, 25 for Newcastle, 34 for Parramatta. Newcastle do have a slower average play the ball, so hopefully that's one thing that Parramatta can continue to do and hopefully slow down the play the ball. We saw against Melbourne that they did have an advantage. They were playing that ball pretty quickly and just couldn't control the ruck, Parramatta. So hopefully they can do this in this game. That's about it in terms of stats. So as I said, 66 points to 10 in the last time these two sides played. The last time up in Newcastle was Friday the 16th of May. Parramatta got the win, 28 points to 6. Zach Lomax scored a double. Mitchell Moses scored a try. Those two players aren't playing this time around. So, look, Dylan Brown actually scored a try as well. Wow, there you go. So it was 10-0 at half time. That's what I think Parramatta need to do. They need to start well. Previous games, they haven't started the best. They did start well against Melbourne, but they did score the first try against Melbourne, but then it just wasn't in the game after that. So they need to start well, and if they get their opportunities down Newcastle's line, make the most of it. Don't always go for the try. If you don't want to go for the try, I mean, every team wants to go for a try, but if you can't go for a try, maybe try for a repeat set, see how you go. But those short dropouts, they are bad for Parramatta. That's where Dom Young will come into play, no doubt, because he is a great leaper in the air of the football. So Newcastle will no doubt do those short dropouts. Kalyn Ponga will probably do that, but yeah, that's just something that Parramatta have to worry about, I guess. But start well, limit your errors, obviously make your tackles, your ruck infringements, keep them down, your discipline, keep them down. And look, hopefully it's a big Parramatta victory. In terms of predictions, all right, let's go. Let's go into some predictions. I will go. The score will be. Forget what I said on the Talking Parra podcast. And look, a shout out to Adam as well. He hates Newcastle. Obviously, being a Parramatta fan living in Newcastle, much like myself, being a Parramatta fan living in Penrith. I guess that's just the team that you hate when you live in that team, I guess, live in that area. But yeah, he really wants a Parramatta victory this weekend. He would he would feel unreal if it was a new Parramatta win. That is for sure. It's probably, I guess, a bit like his grand final. I guess, this is the one he wants to win. He circles the calendar every year. This is the game he wants to win. That's the game that Parramatta want to win, that he wants Parramatta to win. So if he could do it for him, boys, that would be great. 24-16, I'm going to say. Parramatta's way. I don't know how much the Origin game took out of Kalyn Ponga. Well, he had 23 minutes less than every other player, so he's probably a little bit fresh now, isn't he? And Jacob Saifidi, well, he didn't play a minute, so he'll be nice and fresh. First try scorer, I will say. I'll go Brian Kelly in his 200th NRL game. There you go. That will be a great occasion if he can get across the line. So there's a couple of predictions there. But we won't know these full team lineups until, well, it'll get broken down tonight, 24 hours before the game, and then obviously an hour before kickoff as well. There still might be a few changes, but we'll just have to wait and see how it impacts both sides. As State of Origin footy always does, the round after State of Origin, but thankfully for Parramatta, it does not disrupt Parramatta. If anything, with Joash Papali going into New South Wales camp as one of those trainees, I guess you could say, just to get that experience around a rep team, and that will be a great thing that he will bring back to Parramatta. Just that experience of being in and around those players. Obviously, James Tedesco, the fullback, and obviously his captain, Mitchell Moses, as well, when he was in that camp as well. So, great exposure for Joash. That'll give him confidence. He'll be round to go on this weekend. So, he may even be a man of the match performance. Oh, there you go. There's my bold prediction. I think he'll be the man of the match of this game. You watch out for Joash. He'll be pumped up for this game. He'll just have so much confidence. He'll be bursting with energy. like we have seen in previous weeks as well in the fullback position. But that is my Parramatta Eels v Newcastle game preview. I hope you really enjoyed that one. Please let me know your score, your first try scorer as well. I know the Newcastle fans will probably come at me and say, oh, Newcastle's going to win. Dom Young's going to score 3 tries, whatever. Just let me know. Anywhere, somewhere there. Might see a few of you at the game as well. Might see a few of you at the members event as well. So let me know. Come and say good day, get a picture, have a chat Parramatta. Always love meeting the fans of Parramatta and the listeners of the podcast. So thank you very much for listening to this one. If you enjoyed it, please give it a 5-star rating and review on the podcast app that you listen to. It would really help the podcast, and also share it with your family and friends as well. I'd really appreciate that one. Give me a follow on Instagram, Facebook, Apple and Spotify if you haven't already. To those that have, I really appreciate the support. So thank you very much. The Parra Cave podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Parra!
Thanks for listening to another